American environment, the challenge is not to find peace at heart, but to find strength of spirit. And that's an animating process, not a contemplating process. All these musical ministries had a drummer, a keyboard player, and an electric bass guitar, which doesn't sound like church, but the folks who worshiped threw themselves into it with a kind of zeal that we would find rare in this church. It was challenging to see that as worship. And yes, it was worship. When I went off to Brown Hutcherson Ministries, I ran into something I saw elsewhere as well. You know how they take the offering there and at other places? You're going to love this. You come down the aisle and drop it in the bucket. In other words, if you don't give, we see that. There's no passing the plate furtively like you pretend to put something on. No one knows what you're going to put in the bucket. But when it comes time to the offering, you get up, and in a couple of places, the ushers came row by row and lifted us all. And I went down, and I put my money in the bucket. And it felt good. Can you see us doing that? Thank you, Wally. I'm glad you got some nerve there. In other words, my comfort zone, my anxiety was thrumming. I was feeling anxious all over. How do I do this? Am I doing it right? This is weird. I can't understand it. It's so loud. I can't cope. And yet these people were truly, truly worshiping. There was a world of spiritual presence that was theirs, into which I was invited, in which I was free to participate at every level. And what kept me from participating was not them, it was me. It was my choice as to how far in I go. There was never a moment of judgment. I never once was challenged whether I loved Jesus or whether I'd been saved. Never once did anyone ask me that question. None of the sermons tried to convert me. You know what the sermons did? And the prayers too? They were about how to get through the day. I heard a sermon at Brown Hutcherson about how to be a good parent. It was biblical, but the whole thing is how to take care of your child who is in trouble, who is on drugs, who is going to jail, who was dropped out of school. How many of us have those problems? Not so many. And the reality of daily life came very close to me, that these were communities where the risk of jail, of drugs, of pregnancy, of HIV, of unemployment was pervasive. During one prayerful moment at Bethel Pentecostal, a woman stood up and said, "I am grateful to God, praise Jesus, that I found an extra $10 in my check this week." $10! More than $10 will fall on the floor here before we're done today. And yet that woman found it worthy of praise and majesty that she was given a gift of $10. I was humbled. I was humbled by my sense of what it was required to be in church. I could go on at length. But what I want to talk about for a moment is what all of that has to do for us in the most cursory possible way. I want to give you what I'm wanting for myself, that all my colleagues gave me in these weeks that I spent away, because all they wanted to do was not to save souls, no, but to provide a place of rest and peace and comfort for people whose lives are barely holding together from day to day. What they wanted was a chance to offer a little bit of peace, a place to lay their burden down, as the song says, a sense of hope, perhaps even joy, especially in the music, that in the midst of tough times, and tough times are always present in those communities for someone, it is still possible to have faith in life, to have hope, to know love, to feel joy. And so the question I'm asking is, what can we do here to do that? What can I do? I mean, this is a joint effort, kids. We are in the business of helping people feel a sense of hope, a sense of love, and a sense of joy, even when the world wants to take it all away. And I don't have a Bible I can hit you with. I can't bathe you in anything to baptize you. I can't offer you any promises because you've already been scarred by that, or you don't want to go there. But does that mean you have no faith in anything? Of course you do. If you had faith in nothing, you wouldn't even be here. You wouldn't even be alive. You would have ended it all. You believe in something or you wouldn't get up in the morning. You don't even have to name it. You just know it's there. Steve knows what I'm talking about. It's all right. You can praise. It's allowed. You don't have to name it. You just have to have it. And how many of us have gotten up on some morning when we didn't have a job or we were sick or we were frightened and we did not know what to hope in, but we still did it? That's what hope is. It isn't the thing you hope in. It's that I'm going to hope something better's coming along. How many of you have ever bought a lottery ticket? Dumb, huh? That's hope on the hoof. I'm looking at Dr. Lubbers over there. He's having a good time. How much hope do you have to instill before people would create a university where there's nothing but a field before you got there? That's a bunch of hope and a bunch of faith. And the other two things, and you know these because these are the four things we talk about all the time, especially at Advent. How many of us have felt so much pain that the only thing that saved us was someone who loved us? You know that. Whether it's illness or sorrow, a hug, a kiss, a caress, just someone turning up with a casserole or a cookie said, you matter. Don't leave. You can do this. And the last part is the joy part. If you have no joy, it just ain't fun, is it? And if your church isn't fun, it's not much of a church because it's all about the joy. The joy you can have even when you don't know about the faith, you don't know about the hope, and you don't know about the love. And Claire, I gave you my copy of the music, so you're going to have to give it to me. Come on. We're going to sing a song in a moment. We did this at Advent. I think this is a song that belongs to us. Someone give me a copy of this. The music, I mean. I could try to remember it. Life calls us on. It's really faith calls us on and hope calls us on. We have a Pentecostal capacity to believe in this. That you can be faithful without naming what you believe in. You are still faithful. That you can be hopeful without knowing why. That you can be in love without knowing who. That you can be joyful without anyone telling you how. You can do this. And the coolest part is when we do it, everyone will want to join the party. Who doesn't want to go to a party after all? It's September, friends. It's time to gear it up. Faith calls us on. A word of comfort for all of us and every day. Claire, you can help me out a little bit? She's going to sing the first verse, and then you can join in. Let's get you a microphone, okay? Let's pull that down. Look at the words. You don't have to look. See, I wish I had a projection screen right now. Man, that would be so good for you. We did this last December. It's a little bit gospel-y, but I think you'll get over it.
So when people join us, you want them to sing the second verse?
Yeah. You start when you're ready.
Here in reverence now we gather for the blessings we have known, with a pledge to one another that we journey not alone. Joy and sorrow make us wise, kin to all that lives and dies. Faith calls us on. Faith calls us on.
Going to stand up or what? Wait, one more time.